So today we're going to meet a man who's behind one of the fastest growing Saudi-made restaurants, someone who maintains an open door policy and is always ready to help those in need. Meet Ahmed Alajmi, the chairman and CEO of TAKARA Hospitality Group. But where does your love for the food and beverage industry come from? So what is it that motivates you to keep going? What has success meant to you? And has it changed over the years?
Success that I can feel, that my team can feel.
When you give promotions to your staff, should it be based on their seniority or should it be merit-based, like based on their capabilities? So what would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Welcome to FFCC's Off the Menu. Here's where we share stories and ideas and meet industry people, get to know them better, get to know them, how they reached where they have, and the lessons they learned along the way. So today we're going to meet a man who's behind one of the fastest growing Saudi-made restaurant groups, and someone who's come from a mechanical engineering and aeronautical background, and is making waves in the restaurant industry in the kingdom. He operates solely on three pillars that are family, honesty, and respect. Someone who maintains an open door policy and is always ready to help those in need. Meet Ahmed Alajmi, the chairman and CEO of TAKARA Hospitality Group, with a whole range of brands under the umbrella. Welcome to the show, Ahmed.
Thank you for having me, and thanks again for this beautiful introduction.
Thank you. So, diving right in, I read about and got to know from you the history of how you started, but where does your love for the food and beverage industry come from?
See, I come from a family that truly loves homemade food with amazing ingredients or local ingredients. It came from that. I had the best mother in the world.
Oh, wow.
And when she used to make these amazing dishes to the extremes that I had some of my friends knocking our doors sometimes, and they're like, please ask mom to make us food. So my love of food came from that. She gave me the ability to taste the food, to know what ingredients she uses, what spices she uses. And from there, it was always to me that I will not just eat anything.
Okay.
I want to eat something that really tastes good. Of course, we're eating everything, but the reality is I do look for places that provides good food. And I don't look for expensive places per se, but any place that provided good food. After growing up with such thing, when I traveled overseas, it was always something that I always looked for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're fond of cooking as well, I'm guessing?
I am. I make the best cups and stops there.
Okay. Got to try that to believe that. All right. Tell me about the names of your brands. I mean, why did you decide to call them TAKARA, Sold Out, Zibao? Where did those names originate from? Any meaning to that?
See, I'm a kind of person that really works based on data. So when we first started, we wanted to have a name that touches the people and at the same time that presents value to the brand. So we came up with three names. And what we did, we presented those names to leaders of opinions and influencers to see how would they hear that and what is the effect on the name on them. And at the same time, I wanted to make sure that at least with TAKARA, it was not a place that is expensive as well for the people.
Okay.
So I didn't want to create a name that gets them to hear like one of the big brands.
Gives a premium feel to it.
Yes, and they would be afraid to come to. So I presented that, or I conducted with that focus groups. And we evaluated that based on that. With such data, these names came out. So TAKARA means treasure.
Okay.
And we tried to implement that within the cuisine itself. So we used the color that is gold, created the feel that although the restaurant is crowded, but you don't feel the people around you, so you get that private feeling within your table.
Okay.
We played with the lightings on the tables in order for you to not see the faces around you, while you can see the face that you're
Sitting.
such out.
Oh, lovely.
So that is for Takara. As for Sold Out, I wanted to create something funky, and we came up with several names. Sold Out was a name that in our focus groups everyone liked because it always made you feel eager to catch it. We want to catch it before it is being sold out, and we didn't want to just associate it with a burger. We didn't want to call it Sold Out Burger. We just wanted to keep the name open, so potentially that brand could expand toward other things as well. As for Ziba, Iranian in general was a cuisine that is personally loved to me and my family, and it was one of the names that were super difficult for me to catch or to gain, especially that I've always felt that I don't want to base it with Iranian much more than Persian
Okay.
cuisine. So the name came, or at least I got 3 names from my niece. Her name is Rimas. And she, when those names were provided, again, we went through the same cycle of the surveys and focus groups. And the choice was on this one because we can also focus on it in terms of our interior design. So Ziba means the lady who's beautiful and astonishing,
Okay.
or that super pretty lady. So within the outlet, we wanted to make sure that that is implemented through drawings and through paintings.
Okay.
And thankfully, whatever we worked for, people were easy. People got it, and it was easy for them to understand as clientele coming in to our outlets.
Okay, lovely. And from what you tell me, like all the aspects that you've looked into, lights and colors and everything, it clearly shows to me that you are into the details. And I know that you have been involved personally as well when the restaurant started, and even now in all different aspects, finer details. So what is it that motivates you to keep going? What is it that, what is it that makes you keep going in this industry?
What keeps me keep going on daily basis are my daughters. So I have 4 daughters, Fatima, Rima, Noura, and Haifa. And I'll explain later why I said these names. I really focus on not just creating perfection, and that's what really keeps me going, but creating success. Success that I can feel, that my team can feel. I look forward for my team to be happy, to be healthy. And those things makes me get up in the morning. When I first started, it was me alone, it was my wife alone, it was my kids and my family. But as the business started growing, it wasn't me alone. A lot of people's life and their family's life are connected to this business. So that is something that motivates us every day. That is something that gets us to keep going and running to get more and do more. For my team, I always felt that some companies would work on the backs of people. I wanted to create a company that works with people. I want to know that when my staff eventually retire or go on for their life, that they're happy, they're healthy, and they're well set. One of the beautiful things that I continue hearing, that some of the people that left from our side or that went and decided to go back to their homes, is that they open businesses. They have lands, they have houses, not 1, but 2. So this is something that makes me happy and keeps me going, because whatever we do, we touch other people's life with it.
Right.
Not only our clientele, but also our people.
Right. Beautiful names your daughters have.
Thank you.
Okay. So you started, of course, coming from a background that we mentioned of aeronautical engineering, mechanical engineering, F&B happened to you. Was there any kind of mentor who was there for you, who helped you in this transition, or has mentorship played a role in your career choices?
Mentorship, it did. Someone helped me to transfer to F&B, I would say my team. So mentorship, it was phases in my life where mentors came in through these phases. So in the beginning, it was my dad who taught me and who mentored me how to respect people, how to make sure that my word has a value and that I have to keep it, that my reputation is important. And after he passed away, God bless his soul, it was my mom who, I would say, who made me the man I am today. who helped through growing the values that my dad taught me and showed me the world. Following that, I remember one professor for Calculus 2 in my university who pushed me to limits that made me want to become more successful than anyone within the school. I remember this professor, he would never give more than a B+. No matter what you do, you would never get that. You wouldn't be able to get more than this. When I remember that, I was pushing and pushing and pushing until I left his class being an A-. So this to me was the world. This is to me like, hey, you know what? You passed university with 4.0.
So you always set the bar and set it higher and higher for yourself.
And I want to continue doing this as well.
Okay.
Past that, I met this amazing supervisor when I first joined Aramco. His name is Mr. Talal, and he was one of the people that I would literally get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to do work just to see him happy the next morning, because he was one of the people that made us happy. Moving forward to people that really affected me in life was people that I met through the industry. This industry was an industry that is so hospitable that people also like to help each other. One of my dear friends, I would say, is my director of operations.
Okay.
A guy that is always willing to provide knowledge, to give so much and not expect anything in return. And he's a guy that helps not only mentoring me, but mentoring a lot of people within my company.
Wow.
And that is something that I also truly value. So those are the mentoring or the mentorships that went through my life. And as for hospitality and moving from engineering background to here, I always wanted to have a factory.
Okay.
And I remember when I first went to banks and I asked for loans to be able to create one. My idea was unique. It was early stages for the market, but it was but it was technology that has came already now. I remember they told me you need 10 million. You need to source 10 million in order for us to give you a loan. So the fastest way was, listen, I need cash and I need cash fast. Open a restaurant. People like to eat.
Are you serious?
And this is how it started. And after starting the business, I felt, you know what, I actually love this. I love hospitality and I love meeting new people on a daily basis.
That is honestly the first time I'm hearing a story like that.
So meeting the people on a daily basis, it was something that I really adored. You get to meet different personalities. You get to meet different moods of people that would come to the restaurant really, really upset. But looking at them leaving the restaurant after having the food and after having that beautiful service that my team provides and that we provide was something that really touched my heart, and I just simply wanted to continue with it.
Wow.
So despite the fact I wanted the factory, I ended up with something that's much, much, much more beautiful, which is a smile of a client leaving happy from our outfits.
More satisfying than anything else,
Yes.
right? And you yourself want, as I got to know from you earlier, you yourself want to experience that, so you are there at service doing things like, tell me more about that.
I am. So when, see, I love working in the field. In general, I've always loved working in the field. As an engineer, I wasn't sitting with engineers, but I was sitting with technicians, working with my hands. As we started here, I remember we really needed to open that restaurant. At any cost, it has to open. And it was December 2019. I remember I had a big payment coming and I had to make it. We don't have a manager. So I said, you know what, guys, let's depend on each other. Let's do it. I had 5 amazing waiters, my wife and my sister, and we just killed it. People loved to experience an international feeling within a Japanese restaurant, but served by Saudi Arabians. A taste that was not Japanese per se, but a taste that was fused to the Saudi market, to the local taste.
Bring the flavors in.
Bringing the flavors in. One of the things that we pride ourselves about some of the makis that we have. So my girls, their names are in my makis in the Japanese restaurants. And one of our best sellers are Rima Maki. A taste that presents her specific personality, but at the same time, a taste that is tailored for that local market. And with the combination of all of us working together on the floor, it was a serious success. That being said, it is something that gets me to understand, working on the floor, gets me to understand what are the people who are a clientele, what do they want when they come out to such outlets or such dining experience. What potentially in the future they might require. And we listen to all of this. We take notes on things that customers say. I remember one of the comments that was always said to me in the beginning: please don't be the restaurant that opens very well and after time it becomes a restaurant with no taste. This comment always stuck with me, and we're heading toward 5 years, and the restaurant, alhamdulillah, is at 80% capacity.
Wow.
Yani, this is something that we really appreciate, and this is something that we will continue focusing on. We are a Saudi-made brand, and we will continue pushing to be tailored to the local taste, providing the best quality of ingredients, providing the best service possible, to also be able to evolve as the future goes on in such an experience-oriented market.
Wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful, and truly your brands are making waves in the industry, I would say. Right? That's fantastic. So what has success meant to you, and has it changed over the years?
Wow, that is a question. Success it depends on what level you want to reach out to, of course. I believe that I've always looked at this as what success do we really need to reach out to? You know what? I wish that this company become a unicorn company. But in order for me to potentially reach there, I would have to set levels that we reached out to in order for us to be able to reach to the second one in a way that has, I would say, discipline and organization. In order for me to pass from a level to another, you would have to be so disciplined and so organized in order for you to achieve the first level of success, the second one, on and on and on. So if I'm talking about success in general, in order for us to reach out to there, it would be two things, truly, discipline and organization. And thankfully, me and my team, we understand that. I'm a kind of person that gets up in the morning, take a shower, go spend time with my girls before they go to school, take them to school, then head out to the office, get the first 2 hours for myself to organize myself, finish up whatever tasks from the day before, if there were any, then go and sit with the team, with my team leaders, in order for us to see how can we even improve whatever we're doing at the moment and focus on reaching out to the future targets in terms of our strategy. Now, that such discipline that is with me is not anymore. It is something that the whole office is getting used to.
Right.
It is something that the staff within the restaurants are getting used to. So we work based on hierarchy within the restaurants. And I keep giving people an example of army. If they don't work based on discipline and organization, they wouldn't have succeeded until today.
Right.
And that's how we try to push within our organization and take them as an example in order for us to all achieve success. And really, success can be achieved within the people that you're working with. If they don't push for the same thing, you wouldn't be able to reach there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. So I see that you're a very, very extremely hardworking person and dedicated and passionate. So do you believe that a work-life balance is achievable, or do you think it's a myth?
I do believe so. It is not a myth. I think my wife, if she hears this question, she'd kill me now. I am the kind of guy that works between 12 to 16 hours a day. But I do make sure that there is a day or two that is only dedicated to my family. That being said, I'm a kind of person that started from nothing to where we are today. If I don't lead such a progress to success, others wouldn't do it for you. Even your team, if you don't lead them through this, and if they're not led by example, they would not be able to follow such path. I remember, I look at my director of operation and I see him sitting at the office at 12. And when I asked him, why do you do that? He said, because if my operation managers walk in and he sees me working, he'll be doing the same exact thing. He's leading by example. And this is something that I've always learned throughout my life, throughout my job experiences before TAKARA Hospitality Group. That being said, it is possible, maybe not as when you are organizing or developing such goals. So that would take part of your life through a specific number of years, potentially for you to get there. But it is possible. But I wouldn't say 50-50. Okay, just in case my wife is watching.
Fair enough. Just better safe than sorry. It's a. You talked about a hierarchical structure in your organization generally. So, when you give promotions to your staff, should it be based on their seniority or should it be merit-based, like based on their capabilities?
I'm the kind of person that evaluates people on what they do. You could be so senior but doing nothing, and you could be so junior and you're doing so much. You have so much ability to gain knowledge, to expand that knowledge, to be capable of getting so much more information. So no, we are the type of people that actually look at an individual and what or where does he want to be? What type of work is he doing? I'm the kind of person that was always evaluated based on, hey, you're in grade 12. So if you want to take it to 13, then you need to do X, Y, and Z. I've always thought that method is too old. Evaluate me on what I do. I'm the kind of person that works 12 hours and I get so much done through this. Unlike someone that works 8 hours sitting drinking coffee. So no, we don't evaluate based on seniority. We do evaluate based on the capability of a person. And I'll tell you this, I shouldn't be saying this in an interview, but we had people that doubled their salaries within less than a year.
No, wow.
And that was not because of us. That was because of their hard effort. We had waiters that jumped to become assistant managers in no time. I have this gentleman, we work with this gentleman, his name is Douglas. A guy that's, I wouldn't say a mentor, but he's a guy that touched truly my life. When we first began, he was a runner. Today, we're evaluating him for an assistant manager.
Wow.
A guy that came to me as in the beginning, I remember in 2021, and he would say, listen, we passed Corona. This place will grow. Don't worry. And he's one of the hardest working people, or he's truly one of the hardest working people. If my restaurant doesn't have a manager at any given moment, this guy can handle everything by himself. Such a person, would you evaluate him based on seniority or based on his capabilities?
Absolutely. And what you've talked about your director of operations and this person that you're talking about, I clearly can see that the people around you, the people that you have in your team are some exceptional people indeed.
I'd love to think so, and I do believe the values that we started with, not working based on teams only, but based on a family feeling. That is something that developed us so much. I wouldn't leave the office if the team is standing waiting for the bus until they leave. And until I make sure that everyone from the outlets has left. That's something that people feel. And these little details, a lot of people wouldn't think about them, but it actually makes a
lot of difference.
How would you go and enjoy time with your family while your staff are running a very busy operation instead of you being there? What type of example are you leading?
Yeah.
So that is something that if I don't accept it for myself, I wouldn't accept it for others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. We always believed that there is a relationship between food and memory and nostalgia. Like, you suddenly get a smell and you remember something, kind of a thing. So how have you managed to evoke these feelings, or have you in your dining experiences in your restaurant?
My mom passed away almost 3 years ago.
Sorry.
I never felt it. I haven't waved her yet. But that being said, every time I have this dish called ملوخية, it connects me to her directly. It's a dish that I would eat large quantities of, like no other, if it was made by her. There's some places in Saudi that make something that is quite similar to what she used to do. And every time I eat these dishes and their restaurants, it takes me back there. This is something that we truly focus on developing in our outlets. All our outlets are family-oriented restaurants. Of course, based on what they're presenting. So when we talk about a Persian cuisine, that's a family-oriented cuisine. If you talk a burger giant, it's a family-oriented place. And one of the things that we really focus on are the kids. We want them to remember us through the food. They're our future clients.
Beautiful.
The memories that potentially people have. I remember this one lady when I first opened Ziba. So one of the things, as you stated earlier, is that I strive to be on the floor. So one super sweet lady came into our outlets with her daughter. Her daughter is like 30 plus years old. And she was like, I know the family, but I didn't know her mom. So she brings her mom in. Her mom eats the bamia stew, and she was like, oh my God, you guys killed it. This reminds me of my mom.
Oh, so
to me, this is the world. This is the world. And we try to push through that. And one of the most important things that I would say is that if we go back to roots, or I wouldn't say old recipes, but original recipes, we would be able to get such connection in every place that we work in or every place that we would open. And yeah, now I'm hungry for ملوخية.
I'm sure it will be so heartwarming to get these kind of responses from the people who come into your restaurants. And that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
It means the world. It means the world.
I can imagine. So what would you be doing if you weren't doing this?
I think this would be a shocker to a lot of people. After I finished college, I worked in the US for 2 projects. One of them I can't discuss. The other one I worked to help the exterior design of New Jersey after one of the hurricanes. Long story short, my mom never wanted me to stay in the US. She wanted me to be here. So I came in and I said, listen, if I'm coming to Saudi Arabia, I have to get a real super job. So I focused on specific ministries and Aramco being the oil company. So I got an amazing offer from these gentlemen, or from that amazing company. And as I was walking in the first day, I told myself, if I have to work in this company for the rest of my life, then I'm going to become the CEO of Aramco.
Wow.
So if I wasn't doing that and I would have still been in Aramco at the moment, it would have definitely been my goal to be that.
Okay. It's wonderful.
So I'm glad you're laughing because a lot of people put love this. But reality is, I'm the kind of guy that really works hard. I remember that I became one of the youngest supervisors there. And I thought that would be the case. But thankfully, I found my passion in hospitality as well, which touches my life much more than oil.
And aren't we and the people who come to your restaurant glad for that you actually did this instead of being in the oil industry?
See?
Oh, great. So that brings me to the second part of my podcast, which is the this or that section. So I'm going to shoot some questions to you. And you tell me in a couple of lines, if you want, what you believe in. Should a restaurant's success be measured by its profitability or by its impact on the community and customer satisfaction?
Personally, both.
Okay.
Both. It doesn't have to be this or that.
No, you can explain if you feel
So-
it's both.
How would the restaurant become profitable if it's not connected to the community? I've always thought that the customer is the boss. They can fire anybody within a restaurant, from a chairman, or can fire the whole brand by just choosing to spend their money elsewhere. So profitability is important. Working the numbers to make sure sustainability is required, but ensuring that the community, that you're part of the community, that you're also supporting the community, is important. It is a hospitable field. One cannot work without the other.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Is it better to offer extensive training programs for new staff or to hire experienced professionals from the start?
Both.
Okay.
And I'm a good example of this. I had no knowledge of hospitality. I remember the waiters when we started, it was just ahead of Corona. So we started December 2019 and the country just shut down after
Right.
March 15.
Yes.
Okay. I remember it was my birthday when it shut down.
Okay.
When the police walked into my restaurant and told me, close your restaurant. No one's come in. It's Corona.
Oh my.
Our restaurant was just open for less than 4 months. And experienced staff were not there.
Mm-hmm.
So we did extensive teaching and learning, me and the team that was with me. But truly, when an expert person, which is the manager who jumped in back then in time, when he came in, we learned so much. We learned where do you put your left hand when you're reaching out to the table, how you pick up your plates and whatnot. So I think extensive learning is required, but having an expert expedite that knowledge.
Right.
But I'm not a fan of hiring all experts. What are you doing for the others? You need to teach others anyway. Our business is not just about making profits,
Right.
but also to transfer such knowledge to others.
Right. Right. Great. Do you believe in work-life balance? Is it achievable or is it a myth?
Once again, I do believe it's achievable and it's doable with organization and discipline.
Okay. Do you want to explain that a little?
As I stated earlier, if you organize your schedule properly, you'd be able to potentially balance between both.
Right.
And with specific discipline, that is achievable.
Is it better to have an open kitchen concept to enhance transparency and customer engagement, or to maintain a traditional closed kitchen for operational efficiency?
I would do both. I would personally recommend both. See, an open kitchen is an amazing idea when it works for a Japanese restaurant. Could be when it's related to burger. If you have a butchery in the backside, do we really have it? Do we really want to have it in an open kitchen? So I'm a fan of both, and I feel that people also work more efficient when they don't feel that they're under the spotlights.
Mm.
Not everyone is capable of standing in front of a whole number of people and just working. A lot of people, this is not an easy thing for a lot of people. There are a lot of chefs.
Right.
So that's why it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you believe in offering discounts, or offering loyalty programs?
Personally, I'm not a fan of discounts
Mm-hmm.
because I do believe that it decreases the value of what you're selling. But I'm a fan of promotions. Similarly, buy one and get one free.
Okay.
Loyalty programs are super important. I was in a panel yesterday, and one of the things that it was stated is that customer relation or customer management relation systems and such things actually makes a serious difference. It is not the loyalty programs anymore. It's CRMs that we really need to look into.
Right.
And I believe that if you tailor for me a promotion through a loyalty program, you'll be my number one, and I'll be your number one customer.
Okay, fair enough. Makes sense. So, what would you put your money more in attracting new customers or focusing on the loyal ones?
We always do both.
Okay.
So your loyal customers are that gold mine that's there with you all the time. It's the people that is not about money, but it is the people that brings happiness into your restaurant. Me as a waiter, if I see my customer returning back looking for me, there's happiness. So we focus on retaining customers extensively. And at the same time, we market ourselves to the general or the world in order for us to pick up always new customers. At the end, you have occupancy rates that you always want to maintain.
Right.
You might have investors that you want to show them a proper return on investment. So that would not happen only by having your retaining customers.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's true. Great. That brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much, Ahmed, for joining us and for giving us your insights and the stories. It was lovely hearing you, and thank you and wish you the best.
Thank you very much for having me here. Truly.
Thank you.
Thank you.